Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out that the universe's operating system just completely rebooted 5 years ago.
Right, like without anyone even noticing.
Yeah, exactly. And the only way to upgrade your soul for this new system is by binge watching a very specific video series.
It sounds like the plot of a weird indie sci-fi movie.
It really does. But welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today for you, the listener, is to unpack a wild, genuinely esoteric manifesto from 2018. It's called The New Era Has Arrived.
And it was written by an author who goes by the incredibly humble pen name Primordial Chaos.
Primordial chaos. I mean, you have to appreciate the confidence there.
Oh, absolutely.
So we are going to explore how this text takes these vast cosmic science fiction concepts and just mashes them up with ancient utopian ideals. And it does this to propose a radical, immediate shift in human destiny.
And, we are treating this as a fascinating sociological case study today.
Right, because we're not saying any of this is actually true.
Exactly. The goal here isn't to endorse these esoteric claims or validate this specific cosmology. Instead, we're neutrally analyzing just a remarkable piece of modern syncretic writing.
It's basically a masterclass in aggressive universe building.
It really is. Texts like this offer a perfect window into how belief systems construct authority in the 21st century. It shows how they manufacture urgency and how they attempt to solve very modern human anxieties using this bizarre blend of ancient mysticism and digital age mechanics.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the very first sentence of this manifesto, it does not pull any punches.
Not at all.
It claims that humanity quietly crossed a massive cosmic threshold just a few years ago. Specifically, it states that humanity entered the new era on January 1st, 2018.
Just boom, right on New Year's Day.
Right, the entire paradigm of existence shifted while we were all, I don't know, recovering from New Year's Eve parties. But the origin story of this era is where things get incredibly specific and, honestly, a little bizarre.
Yeah, the text is very deliberate in establishing both a timeline and a geography. But it's a geography that stretches way beyond our known universe.
Which is quite the flex.
Definitely. It claims that the thought system behind this new era originates from what it calls Realm Zero of 20 parallel worlds.
Realm Zero of 20 parallel worlds, just casually dropping a highly structured multiverse theory right out of the gate.
And note the specificity. It's not infinite worlds.
Right, it's exactly 20. And this ideology comes from Realm Zero, which kind of sounds like the base reality in a computer simulation or something.
That's a great way to put it.
But then it immediately tries to ground that massive, totally untestable cosmic concept into a very earthly, very recent timeline.
Which is a really interesting rhetorical move.
It says this thought system was born in Africa in 2001, then it grew in Asia, and it was finally formed in North America.
Yeah, it states that the theoretical and practical demonstration work for this era has already been basically completed across those continents.
Which is just wild to think about.
Right, and supposedly this has set up the guiding ideology and lifestyle for humanity for the next 1,000 years.
I have to say that progression, born in Africa, grown in Asia, formed in North America, it sounds strangely corporate.
How do you mean?
Well, it's like a multinational tech product launch, You prototype the new universe-altering consciousness on one continent, you develop it and scale it in another, and then you do the final packaging and rollout in a third.
Like beta testing a new religion.
Exactly. It's such a structured, logistical way to describe a spiritual awakening. So what does this all mean? Why would a cosmic truth from a parallel universe need 17 years to do a global world tour before finally launching in 2018?
What's fascinating here is the psychological mechanism at play.
Okay, lay it on me.
When you introduce a completely untestable abstract concept like Realm Zero of 20 parallel worlds, you risk alienating your audience immediately.
Because it's just too vast.
Exactly. It's unmoored from reality. But by attaching this cosmic idea to grounded recent human history, specific years, like 2001, specific continents, the author attempts to create a tangible historical footprint.
So it makes it feel real.
Yes. It suggests to the reader that this isn't just a late-night internet fabrication. It frames it as a global movement that has been quietly laying its infrastructure across the planet for nearly 2 decades.
I hear what you're saying about creating a footprint, but does anyone actually buy that?
Well, it depends on the reader's frame of reference.
Because 17 years isn't exactly a massive historical timeline for supposedly universal cosmic religion. I mean, it feels like a drop in the bucket compared to, millennia-old traditions.
You're right to point out how brief that is. But in the context of the digital age, 17 years feels like an eternity.
I guess that's true. The internet moves fast.
Very fast. The author is basically trading ancient historical authority for modern geopolitical momentum.
Oh, that makes sense.
It gives the concept a false, but very effective sense of contemporary weight. It's a way of saying, look at my global experience over the last 2 decades before you hire me as your new reality.
Building a resume for the new era. I love that. Okay, so that's where this movement supposedly comes from. But if you're sitting there listening to this and wondering what you actually get out of this new era, we need to examine the promises.
Because they are, frankly, staggering.
Oh, absolutely. It leaves absolutely no stone unturned in promising to fix your life.
The text claims this era will completely destroy what it calls old era consciousness, and it will radically alter human production and lifestyle.
I want to pause on that phrase, old era consciousness, because what it's really promising is a cure for modern anxiety.
That's a really good point.
It paints this ultimate utopian picture where the weather is always good and everyone is joyful. It uses these very evocative traditional phrases claiming that doors won't even need to be locked at night.
And that things lost on the road won't be stolen by anyone.
Right. It's offering a complete eradication of societal distrust.
But it also promises philosophical unification. The manifesto states that in this new era, all dharmas return to the source, and all religions become one.
Wait, take a step back there. All dharmas return to the source. For someone who isn't steeped in Eastern philosophy, what exactly is a dharma in this context?
That's a crucial question. In traditional Buddhist and Hindu frameworks, dharma is an incredibly complex term.
Like, it doesn't just mean one thing, right?
Exactly. It can mean cosmic law, universal order, or the teachings of the Buddha. It's essentially the fundamental nature of reality.
Okay, so it's a huge overarching concept.
Yes. And what primordial chaos is doing here is flattening that complex term to basically mean all other belief systems and philosophical rules.
Oh, wow. So they're just sweeping everything under one umbrella.
Precisely. By saying all dharmas return to the source, the author is claiming that every single religion or philosophy on Earth was just a fragmented offshoot of this one, original truth from Realm Zero.
It's an ideological takeover.
That's exactly what it is.
So it's saying to the reader, all those other religions you've been practicing, they were just beta versions of this.
Yep. It's a very bold claim.
And it gets even more intense on a personal level. It promises an escape from the sea of suffering. It says the fog that lingers in your mind will be dispersed.
Which again appeals directly to modern mental fatigue.
Totally. But here's the kicker. It promises incredibly elongated lifespans.
And we aren't talking about living to a healthy 120.
Not even close. It says your life journey will step onto the threshold of heaven and you will begin a journey of 1,000, 35,000, or even hundreds of millions of years.
The escalation of those numbers is a very intentional rhetorical device.
How so?
Well, think about how the human brain processes time. We can barely conceptualize 1,000 years.
Right. Human history is barely that long in our heads.
Exactly. So moving from 1,000 to 35,000 and then abruptly leaping to hundreds of millions of years, it induces a sort of cognitive overload.
It just shorts out your brain's logic centers.
Yes, it overwhelms the critical faculties with the sheer scale of the reward. It elevates the text from a simple self-help doctrine into the realm of epic cosmological science fiction.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The ultimate reward isn't just living for 100 million years.
Right, there's a transformation involved.
The text says that if you successfully participate in this new era, you will fundamentally transform. Specifically, it says you will become an angel in Western culture, or a celestial Buddha, or immortal in Eastern culture.
Which is just a fascinating mashup.
It sounds like the ultimate spiritual crossover event, like the Avengers of theology. But how does the text justify mashing up Western angels and Eastern Buddhas into the exact same outcome?
It doesn't really bother to justify it theologically, which is a textbook hallmark of syncretic movements.
Wait, remind me what syncretism is again?
Syncretism is the blending of different, sometimes seemingly contradictory beliefs into a new, unified system.
Okay, so taking pieces from everywhere to make something new.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, what primordial chaos is attempting here is the creation of a universal theory of everything.
Like trying to forge a master key that unlocks every spiritual door on Earth.
That's a perfect way to look at it. Because think about the audience. If this manifesto only promised that followers would become celestial Buddhas, it might completely alienate an audience coming from a Western Abrahamic framework.
Right, they wouldn't connect with the terminology at all.
And conversely, if it only promised you would become an angel, it would alienate an Eastern audience.
So by using both, they cover all their bases.
Exactly. By validating both Eastern and Western spiritual goals simultaneously and claiming they are actually the exact same endpoint in this new era, the text aggressively expands its global appeal.
It's basically saying, whatever you believe, you're right, but we have the ultimate version of it.
Yes, it assures readers that whatever cultural framework they grew up with, it's perfectly valid, but it is just one small regional translation of this new, grand, overarching design.
It's the ultimate spiritual rebrand. Old era consciousness is out and new global unification is in.
That's the pitch, anyway.
So they've promised you a million-year lifespan as a culturally flexible celestial being. The natural question you'd ask is, okay, where do I sign up?
Right, what's the cost of admission?
Exactly. What monastery do I have to move to? How many hours a day do I need to meditate in silence? And that's where the author pulls the rug out from under traditional religion. Because the method to achieve all of this is surprisingly modern.
It's entirely rooted in media consumption.
Which is just hilarious to me. The text states that to understand the new era, Angels will continuously show its thoughts and scenes through a video series.
A video series literally called The New Era.
Yes, and the instructions are incredibly simple. You just follow along with these videos. By doing this, the text claims your energy level will gradually and unconsciously rise to over 500.
And your life's vibrational frequency will align with cosmic consciousness.
And the juxtaposition here is wild. You have these ancient, esoteric goals, becoming an immortal, escaping the cycle of suffering, but the delivery mechanism is literally a YouTube playlist.
It's incredible.
It feels exactly like grinding for a stat check in a video game. You know, like you need your charisma stat over 50 to pass a certain dialogue tree.
Right.
But here, you need your cosmic energy level over 500 to unlock your million-year lifespan.
It's very gamified.
But why a number? Why over 500? What is the mechanism behind assigning a numerical value to spiritual enlightenment?
Well, it heavily borrows from the modern pseudoscientific and quantified self-movements.
The what movements?
Quantified self-movement. Think about how we live today. People track their sleep cycles, their daily steps, their heart rate variability on their smartwatch.
Oh, sure. I check my step count religiously.
Exactly. We have been conditioned to believe that progress is only real if it can be measured on a dashboard.
Oh, wow. That makes so much sense.
By claiming your energy level will rise to a specific number, like 500, the author is tapping into that modern desire for quantifiable metrics.
So it feels more like science than faith.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It takes the deeply abstract concept of spiritual growth and packages it as a measurable biological upgrade.
It's passive enlightenment. I mean, traditional enlightenment usually demands rigorous physical and mental labor. Asceticism, vows of silence, deeply uncomfortable introspection.
Fasting, isolation.
Yes, but here, the transformation is promised to happen unconsciously and imperceptibly just by being a dedicated viewer of content.
Which is a lot easier than climbing a mountain.
It's the difference between a monk spending 40 years in a Himalayan cave and a guy sitting on his couch with an iPad, binge-watching his way to nirvana.
And that reflects a deep understanding of the modern consumer mindset. Remove the friction, guarantee the result, and make the process as passive as watching television.
It's brilliant marketing.
It is. But to back up a claim that massive, the author, Primordial Chaos, has to establish their credentials. Who are they to be making universe-altering guarantees?
Right. Why should we trust this specific YouTube playlist?
Well, they state they are the messenger of the universe's greatest creator. And to prove it, they don't point to ancient scrolls. They link themselves to a very specific, real-world internet phenomenon.
Okay, yes.
Primordial Chaos claims they are the messenger prophesied by the Russian Martian boy, Boriska.
I am so glad we're getting into this because this is perhaps the most bizarre pivot in the entire document.
It really comes out of nowhere.
For you listening, if you didn't spend your early 2000s deep in conspiracy forums, Boriska refers to a piece of real internet fringe lore.
It was huge on early message boards.
Right. It was a story about a young boy in Russia named Boris Kiprianovich who claimed he had lived on Mars before being reborn on Earth. He supposedly made various prophecies about the future of humanity.
Classic early internet mystery fodder.
Exactly. But what on earth is he doing in a manifesto about becoming a celestial Buddha?
Well, the manifesto specifically claims that the information Boriska spread to humanity was a prophecy about a great guiding spirit born in northwest China.
Okay.
And Primordial Chaos is implicitly stating That guiding spirit.
Hmm.
That's me.
Oh, wow.
This is a brilliant example of how modern esoteric texts construct authority today. They rarely invent a mythology entirely from scratch anymore. Instead, they remix existing internet lore.
It's like a spin-off TV series using a popular guest star to get better ratings for the pilot episode.
That is a great analogy. By incorporating Boriska, the author is borrowing authority from an established mythos.
Because Boriska already had fans.
Exactly. He had a built-in audience of people interested in alternative cosmologies, UFOs, and extraterrestrial prophecies.
So it's a built-in marketing funnel.
Yes. If you already believe in or are even just intrigued by the Boriska story, this text positions itself as the sequel.
That is so wild.
It takes a piece of Russian UFO lore and seamlessly weaves it into a narrative about a divine messenger from northwest China. It perfectly illustrates how interconnected and globalized fringe beliefs have become in the digital age.
Okay, let's take a breath and look at the picture we've painted so far. We have a parallel universe region, a global tech launch rollout across 3 continents, promises of becoming million-year-old angels, leveling up our spiritual stats by passively watching videos, and a ringing endorsement from a Russian Martian boy.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is. It all sounds like this joyful, fictionless ride into a screen-based utopia. But texts like this never just let you sit back and relax.
No, there's always a catch.
Always. As we look at the final section of this manifesto, the tone shifts dramatically. We hit the ticking clock.
The built-in urgency. The text makes it clear that this utopia is not simply given, it must be survived.
Suddenly, the manifesto states that humanity is currently experiencing a brief period of suffering. It says this period has already begun, and it will last for about 10 years.
So we are right in the middle of it.
Right. And to survive this 10-year tribulation, followers are told they must constantly keep up with the New Era video series.
Keep watching those videos.
Doing so will light an inner divine lamp, which removes fear, purifies the soul, and allows them to actually enter that glorious 1,000-year era.
And then comes the warning.
Yes, the text ends with a very stark ultimatum. It says, and I quote, "Missing the good opportunity brings heavy crises."
It is an incredibly severe pivot in tone.
It really is. We go from this beautiful, serene promise of unlocked doors and fog being lifted from our minds to a sudden, ominous warning about heavy crises and a mandatory 10-year window of suffering.
It's spiritual whiplash.
It's like an infomercial for your soul.
Yeah.
You know, they show you the shiny new vacuum cleaner that will solve all your problems, make your life effortless, and cure your anxiety.
Right.
But then the timer pops up on the screen and the announcer yells, "Call in the next 10 minutes or you're stuck with your dirty carpet and ruin life forever."
It's the exact same tactic.
It puts you on a strict, unavoidable ticking clock. If the era started in 2018 and the suffering lasts 10 years, well, you do the math. We're almost out of time.
This raises an essential question about the underlying human psychology of these movements.
What's that?
Well, why include the doom and gloom at all? If primordial chaos has this beautiful utopian vision of unified religions and immortal lifespans, why not just sell the utopia?
Right. Why scare people?
Why introduce a 10-year nightmare scenario when the paradise sounds so good on its own?
I mean, because without a deadline, people procrastinate. If you tell someone they have eternity to reach enlightenment, they'll probably decide to start meditating next Tuesday.
Exactly. Urgency is definitely the primary function here. If the doors to the new era are open forever, there's no rush to commit to the ideology.
And more importantly, no rush to start watching the video series.
Right. By saying the window is narrow, and that missing out brings heavy crises, the text forces a decision. It leverages an existential fear of missing out.
Extreme FOMO.
Exactly. It's not just missing out on a societal shift, but on millions of years of existence as a celestial being.
It demands that you commit to the text's teachings right now, today, before the cosmic clock runs out.
But there's a second, equally important psychological function to the tribulation period.
Oh, really? What's that?
Framing the current moment as a mandatory 10-year period of suffering serves to explain away any actual real-world hardships the reader is experiencing right now.
Wait, explain how that works. How does telling someone they are in a tribulation actually help them?
Think about the daily anxieties of modern life. Financial stress, social isolation, health issues.
Just the general grind of being a person.
Exactly. If someone is struggling, this text steps in and validates their pain. It says, of course you are suffering. The whole universe is going through a massive 10-year cosmic birthing pain right now.
Oh, wow.
It tells them your hardship isn't your fault and it isn't random. It's a necessary part of the universe rebooting.
It takes mundane, everyday stress and elevates it to a cosmic struggle.
Yes, that provides immediate, profound meaning to random suffering, which is a powerful hook for anyone feeling lost or overwhelmed.
That is deeply fascinating. It basically weaponizes your daily stress to prove its own cosmic validity.
It's incredibly effective.
Well, this has been an absolute whirlwind. Let's do a quick, energetic recap of the journey we just took through the mind of primordial chaos.
Let's hear it.
We started out in the mysterious realm 0 of 20 parallel worlds. We tracked a 17-year geographical rollout through Africa, Asia, and North America.
Yep.
We learned we need to raise our spiritual energy levels over 500, which we can conveniently achieve by binge-watching angelic video content rather than living in a monastery.
The modern way.
We met a prophesied guide from Northwest China who borrowed their credentials from a Russian Martian boy internet meme, and we learned we have to do all of this immediately to survive a 10-year cosmic tribulation and avoid unspecified heavy crises.
It is a dense, deeply layered narrative that perfectly encapsulates the chaotic, syncretic nature of the modern spiritual marketplace.
It really does. As we wrap up this deep dive into the fringes of modern cosmological thought, what is one final provocative thought you want to leave our listener with today? Something we haven't touched on yet.
I want you to think about the social implications of how this text promises salvation.
Okay.
For thousands of years, religious and spiritual movements have been fundamentally communal.
Right, you gather together.
Exactly. To seek enlightenment or salvation meant gathering together. You went to a church, a temple, a mosque, or a sangha. You interacted with a community, shared physical space, and participated in collective rituals.
It was about being with other people.
Yes. But look at what the new era has proposes. The ultimate requirement for surviving the tribulation and becoming a celestial immortal is to sit and watch a video series.
Alone.
It takes the grandest possible vision of human unity, all religions becoming one, and reduces the practice of it to the most isolated, individualized action imaginable. Staring at a screen.
Oh, that is dark.
It raises a chilling question about where our society is heading. If our ultimate visions of utopia no longer require us to actually interact with other human beings, is the new era of cosmic enlightenment actually just an era of ultimate, absolute isolation?
Wow. We are promised a universe where all doors are unlocked and all people are joyful, but we achieve it by locking ourselves in a room to watch a playlist.
Exactly.
That is a staggering contradiction to end on. Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into the new era has arrived. Keep your minds open, be mindful of what your screens are asking of you, and as always, keep questioning the information you encounter.